There is a new Adept weapon dropping from the Nightfall this Tuesday reset. It's called the Pre-Astyanax Adept Bow. It's a precision frame solar bow, and in today's video we're going to break down just how potent this thing will be in both PvE and PvP. The 3 origin traits that it offers are Stunning Recovery. Stunning a champion partially refills your magazine, triggers health regeneration, and improves recovery for a short duration, which conveniently this season we do have anti-barrier bows, which will synergize perfectly with that, of course. Its second origin trait is Vanguard's Vindictive, which is final blows of this weapon grant a small amount of health, which is also really good because of course you're going to be clearing a ton of ads with this, especially at distance if you're doing challenging activities, and it can be nice to get those small chunks of health. The amount of health you get from each kill is only 7 HP though, so keep that in mind. It's a small amount of health, but it's not too bad. And the new origin trait here we have is Wildcard, which is final blows with this weapon have a chance to create experimental submunitions at the target's location. This one is crazy, and we've only seen this as well on the ritual hand cannon. The way this works is basically you're going to get kills with this weapon and it's going to drop little sub munitions on the ground. They're going to operate exactly how Telesto bolts work, which I don't know why exactly Bungie added more Telesto elements in the game. Are they trying to break the game again? And those little bolts that land on the ground will explode if enemies get within proximity to them. So kind of a cool origin trait, and we'll have to test this out when we actually get this weapon in game. But from everything we've seen from this origin trait so far, it's not extremely impressive. Unless someone out there finds some sort of unique interaction with this with another perk, then more than likely this isn't really the best origin trait. But we'll see, because of course we have to test that stuff first. In the 4th perk column we have Incandescent here. Along with that we have Collective Action, Successful Warm-Up, Opening Shot, Explosive Head, and lastly Precision Instrument. Of all those perk options, historically Explosive Head has been the best perk overall in PvE. And while I don't personally use bows in PvP, I do know that the goal for bows most of the time is to try and get like a huge damage bonus so that you can get a one-hit kill with it. I don't see any perks that can really do that, so I imagine the PvP role would be something closer to Opening Shot. As far as the left-hand perk column, the first perk we have there is Perpetual Motion, and then we have Archer's Tempo, Perfect Float, Shoot to Loot, Enlightened Action, and lastly Rangefinder. For PvE, historically Archer's Tempo has been kind of the go-to perk. However, I will say that Shoot to Loot is definitely an excellent option for this and gives it some unique diversity from the other solar bows that are in the game. If you don't know, the Pre-Astyanax 4 has some steep competition because the Strident Whistle is another precision frame solar bow, and the Tyranny of Heaven also exists. We're going to go through those in just a moment. So if I had to pick my PvE god roll, I'm definitely going with Shoot to Loot and Explosive Head. For the arrow, we're picking Compact Arrow Shaft. This gives us plus 10 reloading and plus 10 handling. This is like the meta must-have arrow for bows. And then for the bowstring, we're going with Elastic Bowstring. This is the only one that offers a faster draw time, which is extremely helpful when using bows. So we'll definitely be choosing that as a part of our god roll. And lastly, for the masterwork, we'll definitely be going for a draw time masterwork. So those are my selections for the PvE god roll of the Pre-Astyanax 4 Adept Solar Bow, Draw Time Masterwork, Elastic String, Compact Arrow Shaft, Shoot to Loot, and Explosive Head. Now keep in mind that this has to directly compete against the Strident Whistle Bow. If you haven't already gotten a roll of that, or the god roll of that, the Strident Whistle's origin trait is also similarly Vanguard's Vindication. It doesn't have the other 2 options though, so keep that in mind. And then it has 12 perk options in the left and right column, which made getting the god roll of this so much harder. And for the Pre-Astyanax, you only actually have 6 perks in the left and right column, so a little bit nicer to get the god roll. Explosive Head, Archer's Tempo, Compact Arrow Shaft, Elastic String, and a Draw Time Masterwork were the god roll that we were looking for the Strident Whistle, and I can confidently say that the Pre-Astyanax 4 actually outclasses it because it's an adept weapon, so it can slot some better mods, it's going to get better base stats, and alternatively it has multiple origin traits. So the Pre-Astyanax 4 god roll outclasses the Strident Whistle. The only other solar bow that definitely has to be thrown in the mix here is the Tyranny of Heaven. The Tyranny of Heaven is a solar bow as well, however it's a lightweight frame, which is one of the worst frames. Although Bungie did recently buff it, the Tyranny of Heaven gets the bonus of getting 2 damage boosting perks. In the right hand column you'd go for One for All, and in the left hand column you'd have Explosive Head, and then your arrow, string, and masterwork would all be the same as the previous bows. But what would make the Pre-Astyanax 4 slightly better than this would be its utility with Shoot to Loot, which the Tyranny of Heaven cannot roll. The real question is, does the Tyranny of Heaven with double damage perks outclass the Pre-Astyanax 4 with just 1 damage perk? And we'll have to do some testing and see which one is better once of course we get this weapon in the game, because it hasn't come out yet. It drops this Tuesday at reset from completions of the Grandmaster Nightfall. And don't forget that the Nightfall this week will be the Mars Heist Battleground, one of the more difficult Grandmasters out there, so make sure you're geared up and prepared to beat that. The boss room especially can be really difficult and can wipe your team out unless you know a few secret spots and have a few good strategies. But let me know down in the comments below, do you think that this weapon will be worth the grind? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe with notifications on, hit the like button, and click on the screen here to watch another video from the channel. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.